Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and today I'm going to be drawing the Predator. Now this officially qualifies as the longest drawing I've ever done in my life. It took 8.5 hours. I know why it took that long, but I never expected that I would get myself into an 8.5 hour drawing session. So yeah, hopefully you guys will think it's worth it. This also kind of qualifies as one of the few things I've ever spent this much time on. Like single things I've spent this much time on in my life. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Now the Predator, it's quite interesting to me, like what kind of industry was created around this character, because there have been a lot of cases where movies or games sprouted, like book franchises or toy manufacturers or collections, but it's mostly been about the actual topic of the film. Well, in this case, the Predator in itself, just the character alone, gave birth to an entire industry of like collectible toys and books, novels, computer games, everything. While I was searching for reference for this drawing, I found like a few forums of people designing Predators, like actual sculptors, just amateurs, both amateurs and professionals actually, designing Predator figurines, and the detail on some of those was absolutely astonishing. I mean, most of them were like 12-inch desktop figurines or something like that on a little base or something, but they were like insanely well done, better than a lot of like collectible Warhammer shit that I've seen out there. So, you know, if you're interested in that, check it out. I think a few people sell them as well. But anyway, the Predator was conceptualized in 1987 for the movie with the same title, which starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if you didn't know, that movie was the one that gave birth to the very famous line, "Get to the chopper." Get to the chopper. Very bad impersonation. Oh well, I just had to. So anyway, it was conceptualized by two brothers called Jim and John Thomas, and it was designed by Stan Winston, which is a visual makeup artist and movie director and special effects director, everything. He worked on movies such as Iron Man, Avatar, the Terminator series, Jurassic Park, the Alien series. He won like 4 Academy Awards for his work, and so he's like pretty high up there, but he died like 3 years ago. So he did a pretty good job, and the way Predator got its image was interesting. Stan Winston and John Cameron were on an airplane, and Winston was just doing some sketches for the like initial designs of the Predator. And John Cameron was the one that told him, "I want to see something with mandibles," and that's how the Predator was born. Because that's one of the key features that the Predator is most famous for, its mandibles. So for the movie, they were planning to cast Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Predator, but he's like, yeah, he's a pretty short guy. So instead, they got this mime person that was like 7 foot 2 inches tall or something. So he was like insanely tall on its own. And for the second movie, they got a few of the LA Lakers to play as Predators. And both Predator 1 and 2, I think, I'm not sure the rest were, but I know for sure about 1 and 2. They were actually voice acted by Peter Cullen, which is the guy that voice acts Optimus Prime. So it's pretty cool, you know, knowing that it's a small world in the industry. You think it was pretty big, but a lot of the people that you know actually worked on movies that you had no idea they worked on. So that's kind of cool. And the sounds that the Predator makes were also inspired by an animal called the horseshoe crab. So it's sort of taken from real life. But I find it fascinating. It's nice info. So anyway, back to the whole Predator thing. Its background story states that the Predator lives in a tribal society. It's a very ancient civilization, which apparently has visited planet Earth many, many times. And their main occupation is hunting, and what they like to hunt most is aliens. So like a few hundreds or thousands of years ago, they came to this island, which is it's owned by Norway. I think it's called Buteva Island, something like that. Doesn't matter really. Where they were worshipped as gods by humans, so they made a pact with humans that they would like teach them stuff, like to build pyramids and whatever. That's apparently their contribution to mankind. And in trade, they wanted to use humans as hosts for the facehuggers. And they would come around like once every 100 years and hunt the aliens, and that would be like the funsies, that would be the trade. They would give them knowledge for the privilege to hunt on their island. So we found out that the predators were actually breeding aliens, and at some point aliens got out of control and started wreaking havoc on the island, and then the predators just kind of said, fuck it, screw this, we're not going to do this anymore, it's too hard. So they just kind of left it as it is. They just abandoned the cause. So they live in a tribal society. They're very high tech, but they're also used like as decorations. They use the skulls of their prey. So the biggest honor for them is like to best worthy combatant in one-on-one combat and stuff like that. And they rip out their skulls and take their spines and skulls as trophies, and they decorate their armors with them. Sort of like the Warhammer concept of Chaos Marines and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what they do. There's not like that much information about them, but of course information is made up along the way as people put out various books and novels about them. But also another key thing about the predators is that they have like this, probably you've seen like either games or movies, like the mask that they wear allow them to see in a lot of spectrums, like infrared, ultraviolet, so they can detect various life forms and their heat signatures. So that's kind of cool to have. And apparently they can breathe the Earth's atmosphere, fuck's sake. And there's like various tribes of predators that sometimes fight each other, like we can see in the movie Predators, which I recently watched, but I'm not that big a fan of that. I only think like the worthy ones were 1 and 2. 1 obviously being the best, because I'm kind of conservative when it comes to movies. For me, the first is always the best. Whatever follows is sort of filler. But anyway, so yeah, they fight each other. So there's like no loyalty there or anything. They're just very basic when it comes to their social structures, but they're very advanced when it comes to the civilization itself. So there you go. Now the Predator has been featured in around. Well, see, that's the thing. The Alien and the Predator universe is sort of mixed. I mean, there's no like clear distinction between them, seeing as the aliens are sort of the Predator's prey. But the aliens and the predators have been featured in around 38 games, which is probably one of the biggest number of games made around a single topic of all time. And of course, the first game was in 1987 with the appearance of the movie, and it was an arcade game as far as I know. But yeah, the games have been made for everything from like arcade to iPad to Atari to Sega to PC to everything. You know, I played the first one, the Alien vs. Predator, in 2000. It was released in 99. And I actually bought the original, which back in 2000 was a super big deal because nobody buys original games in Romania. At least nobody did. Maybe people do nowadays, but before it was, you would always just pirate everything because people didn't have money for games. So yeah, I bought that in original and I played it through, and it was scary as fuck. Probably would be not so scary now, but yeah, still it was like 10 years ago, so I was still a kid. But yeah, I mean, the universe itself is very much fascinating, even though the franchise is spurred from this particular character weren't as successful as the movie itself. But there are a lot of, as I've said, a lot of toys made with around the Predator universe, and people come up with their own concepts for them. Like there are Celtic predators, ancient predators, like wolf predators, various tribes and characteristics that define them. People have made like female predators, like females were introduced in novels, I think, and apparently predators have like this matriarchal society, which isn't present in the movies, but that's the whole point of fiction novels. They create a fictional universe. So I can't really say anything about the drawing. I used like an ancient predator as reference because I don't know, I didn't feel like covering him in armor as much, so I just wanted to focus on like the face mainly and like the decorations a bit. So I think it came out pretty well, but still I was like shocked that 4.5 hours into it I wasn't even halfway done. I was like, fuck, how long is this gonna take? And it ended up taking 8.5. So yeah, but I hope you enjoyed it, and please rate it if you liked it, and I'll see you guys for my next one. Bye bye.